This is a tale Dana White has told routinely.
He loved it, and he said, we'd love to have you here at the Taj Mahal. Cut us a great deal. Showed up for the first fight of the night and stayed till the last fight of the night. Watched the whole show, both the shows that we did at the Taj. And then after that, every good thing that ever happened to me in my career, Trump would reach out of the blue and say, congratulations, I'm so happy for you.
When he first spilled the beans with Graham Bensinger 6 years ago.
Say what you want about him. The guy saw this thing coming, was into it, and gave us our first shot, and you'll never hear me say anything bad about Trump.
What I find hypocritical is White utters this.
Whatever your deal is, or whatever I'm not a real political person.
Yet makes appearance after appearance on Fox News.
He's a guy who I believe will get things done,
Speaks at the Republican National Convention.
My name is Dana White. I am the president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Gloats over his access to the media at UFC events.
The guy has become president. I've been to the White House 4 times for dinner.
One of the things that I've really tried to do through this whole thing is stay out of politics.
Produces a documentary on Donald Trump that was released through the UFC's channels. Allows Florida Governor Ron DeSantis to practically hold a rally at a UFC event in Jacksonville. Speaks at the RNC for a second time.
It was clear his highest priority was always the health and safety of everyone in our country.
Everybody loves him, eh? Everybody? You sure?
Spoke and our friendship went to a whole nother level, and, you couldn't ask for a more stand-up. Ask anybody who's ever known Trump, has been friends with him for years. Everybody loves him.
Dana, was he great to Capitol police officers?
The writers call me a traitor, a disgrace, and shouted that I, an army veteran and a police officer, should be executed. My fellow officers and I were punched, kicked, shoved, sprayed with chemical irritants, and even blinded with eye-damaging lasers by a violent mob, who apparently saw us, law enforcement officers, dedicated to ironically protecting them as U.S. citizens, as an impediment to their attempted insurrection.
And why are you so indifferent to these tragic events that was orchestrated by the party you support?
Ripped off my badge. They grabbed and stripped me of my radio. They seized ammunition that was secured to my body. They began to beat me with their fists and with what felt like hard metal objects. I heard chanting from some in the crowd, "Get his gun," and kill him with his own gun. The indifference shown to my colleagues is disgraceful.
Jack O'Donnell, the former president and COO of Trump Plaza and Hotel, may say differently than you as well.
One particular instance where he referred to, who was our chief financial officer, by the way, not just an employee, and he complained to me that he didn't really like having a black guy counting his money. He went on to say, what I want counting my money is short guys with yarmulkes on their head. He had complained several times that he wasn't happy with this particular employee, but it was really the first time that he really honed in on the fact that he didn't like him simply because he was black, because he went on to say in this conversation that he perceived this guy as being lazy. And then he said, but that's probably not his fault, because laziness is a trait in blacks.
Several Trump aides had trouble finding work and or are jobless because of this man. It's their own fault, don't get me wrong, for following a blindly ignorant person. But where was this camaraderie to help them out from 45? I'll tell you, nowhere. The owners of the USFL, who entrusted Trump to grow their league into the NFL's rival, saw the ex-prez run it into the ground. They may say differently, Dana. Trump's former White House chief of staff, retired Marine General John Kelly, called him, Trump, the most flawed person he's ever known. His family members hate him.
Have you heard the president use the N-word? Yeah. And anti-Semitic slurs specifically? Yes.
He referred to Haiti, El Salvador, and an assortment of African nations as S-hole countries. He then suggested bringing immigrants to the United States from Norway, a country that many observers noted is overwhelmingly white. Like Trump and even Joe Biden, Dana White does not care about the working class, specifically the explicit labor that drives his sport. Like the two presidents who have acted in the best wishes of the ultra-wealthy, the workforce is being used as pawns in the game of capitalism. All in all, 83 fighters have tested positive for the coronavirus via SB Nation's BloodyElbow.com. What scares many is not just that more than 5.5 million people have died around the globe from the coronavirus. It is hand in hand the long-term effects from contracting COVID. Research has indicated the future may not be bright. The problem isn't that everyone hates Trump. It's enablers like White who used all his might with an entire sports league's backing and continued propaganda to propel him. That's the issue. It's the enabling that is the crux. Without it, he's almost a nobody.